Hi, guys. Welcome to Soul Connections. I'm your host, Polly Jo Labbe, here on Star Nation's radio network, our live streaming shows that come to you through Be Live TV on Facebook. Tonight, we're gathering together to do our own personal healing. And through that healing work, we also are I will be pulling some cards, some divination cards for people. And so the cards I'm using tonight, and I'll tell you again after, I'm still using the Dreams of Gaia cards. They seem to be, I'm sorry about the glare. They seem to be the ones that are calling to me at the moment. And this is Raven Phelan, is the person whose deck this is. It has some really cool take action energy. And I'm finding it really interesting. It's a non-traditional tarot deck, so there are more cards than normal. There are 81 cards, so it gives us some more opportunity to receive fuller messages. So really, really cool. So if you would like a card drawn for you later, make sure you just type in yes, please, and we will, pull them in the order that you ask for them. And thanks to Neshi, who's my co-pilot, and helps me organize so that I make sure that I don't miss anyone, which is really important to me. And I will pull cards until we're done, because that's just how I roll. So we have a little bit of like housekeeping, Star Nation's housekeeping. And I'm going to pull out my notes that I just wrote, and now I don't see where I put them. Hold on. Here it is. Phew. So there have been a number of questions that have come up to Star Nations about, watching our shows. When they want to be able to see, you guys want to see us live, especially stuff like, I'm pulling cards. You want to see that live. So how does that happen? Well, there's a couple things that you need to do first. So for those of you who are on your phone, in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, you're going to see 3 horizontal dots. And if you push on that or you click on that, it'll create a drop-down box. And that drop-down box, the first thing you need to do is like my page, like the Chakra Sessions page, because that will get you information about when all my shows are. And then after that, you're going to click following. So there's like a little toggle button and you want to push on it. And when you do, it's either going to turn green or blue, depending on what kind of phone you have. We're not really sure, but that's how you do it. And if you're on your computer, it's a similar thing. It's in the upper right-hand corner. There's 3 dots. And you want to like my page and you want to follow it. And sometimes it says get notifications, because I've had times when I'm watching a show host and it even will pop up right in the chat room. Or at least it did for me when I was watching Connie's show the last time it had it. It said, would you like to get notifications of when this show is going to go live? And I was like, yes. So do that, and then you'll get a little leap ahead of time that when the show is going to go live. Because we want you to see us live if you want to be with us live. But remember, everything is recorded, so you can always watch us at your convenience. So thanks for helping out with that. So, and also our normal housekeeping, if you guys could love this show and share it, get it out there into Facebook land so we can reach some people who maybe need some healing tonight, maybe need some guidance, because there's a lot stirring up for a lot of people, and sometimes it's just nice to have a confirmation of what your gut is telling you. A lot of people I know, we all have great intuition, but sometimes we second guess it. So sometimes tapping into my team allows you to have that sense of, okay, that is what I was getting and that is what it means. And that can be calming, and it can help you take action in heal in your life. So I hope that works for you guys. So we just had the autumn equinox, and as part of that, there's a lot of shedding of the old and getting prepared for the new. And so getting prepared for the new is, can be something that you're harvesting now, or it could be something that you're preparing to blossom in the springtime. So as you're doing your healing tonight, if you would like to use the energy of the equinox as part of your healing, I strongly encourage it. And you can ask for anything that is ready to shed, that no longer works for you, to just slide right off, and make room for something new to bloom in your life, for you to have room for new creations and new inspiration. And it doesn't have to wait till spring, by the way. Some of that can happen right in the fall foliage, right? Because that's like a beautiful painting that happens right before the leaves fall down, or at least it does in New England. So with that, let's get our meditation going, okay? So we're going to take a couple of deep breaths. And we really want to center ourselves, and if possible, you want to do your own grounding. And we all have our own unique way to connect to the earth. And I'll give you some guidance of what my team might be suggesting. But if you have your own personal technique that works well for you, I encourage you to do that, okay? So let's take a couple of really deep cleansing breaths. And each time you blow out, you're going to breathe in the divine energy, calming, centering, balancing, and you're going to blow out all that is heavy, dense, or no longer serves you. And let's do one more. Big breath in. And really allow your energy to connect to the earth, even to the chair you may be sitting in, or connect to the floor beneath you. And you may feel your energy connect through your heart, through your solar plexus, through your root chakra or your tailbone, through your legs and through your feet. And imagine that grounding energy opening and widening so that you have an even, sturdier cord anchoring you to the earth energy, and a more open cylinder to release all of the energy that you are willing to release this evening. And if you're having difficulty grounding, feel free to invite the earth energy to come up and hold you. Hold your feet or your legs so that you feel solidly like that go all the way down to the molten lava center of the earth. And we're going to begin by calling in the divine energy, however you perceive that. Whether you connect to God or Goddess, Creator, oneness, consciousness, all that is. Just allowing that energy to come in and connect with you. And we invite the divine energy to surround and protect us, creating a sacred space of infinite love and infinite light. And in this sacred space, the healing work is for the good of all and harm to none, including ourselves. And we welcome in the highest, fullest, and brightest divine energy that is available to us in this moment. Calling in our spiritual team, our guides, our angels, our master teachers, the star beings, our animal totems, the elementals, even our ancestors. Opening and expanding the fullest, brightest connection that we are able to with our team and with the divine. And allowing the energy to begin to come in through the crown chakra, through the top of the head. And as it gently opens the crown to receive the unconditional love of the divine even more fully, creating space by removing doubt in all of its shapes and flavors. Opening us to infinite possibilities in all aspects of our life. And gently calling the energy down into the third eye, into the center of the forehead. And here, removing any obstacles that block our perception, our senses, our intuition. Any energy that distracts us and pulls us into the future or into the past. Releasing those cords of connection so that we may enter and stay in the present moment with each breath of this meditation, making room for awareness and awakeness to happen within us. And opening our ears and our throat to expand our communication with our spiritual team, with the divine, with others, and even within ourselves. Making room for us to be heard, to be seen, and to be understood. And while calling into the balance, the ability for us to do the same for others. Removing the tension in the back of the neck and then the top of the shoulders, where we've squeezed in any anxiety or worry or frustration. Where we've held back speaking our authentic truth or expressing our authentic being. And the weight of all the responsibilities that we carry for ourselves and for others. Asking our spiritual team to gently remove the responsibilities and the burdens from our shoulders until the meditation is done. So that we can have a moment of lightness and release. And allowing the energy to move into our heart area. Clearing our physical heart, our energetic heart chakra, and even connecting to our high heart, connected to the highest, fullest part of ourselves, our higher self. And in that connection, making room for our lungs to breathe air more fully. Releasing the tightness that stress and anxiety can cause on the lungs and our bronchial tubes. And within our heart, connecting to our aspects of self that are anchored here, our inner child, that part of us that creates joy and wonder and excitement in our lives. Making sure that our inner child has space to breathe, stretch, and grow, but most of all, play. Releasing any burdens or responsibilities that the child has been carrying for us. Any woundings from our past. And allowing them to gently slide off as well. And connecting with the inner adult, the responsible part of us that gets caught in the doing and sometimes forgets about the being. And giving the adult a moment again to breathe and relax, releasing the burdens and responsibilities, knowing that the attention and the focus is simply right now in each breath that we take. And connecting to the inner warrior, that fierce advocate that protects us and protects those that are close to us and helps us protect the things that matter most to us. And at the moment, the warrior can be at peace, releasing the hypervigilance, releasing the need to defend, for in this moment they are completely safe and protected. Connecting to the inner wise one, that part of you that you've carried with you in each and every lifetime. The part that is connected to all the wisdom you've ever accumulated, as well as the wisdom of all humanity. And opening the communication so that you can access that inner knowing whenever you need it. Moving the energy down once again to the solar plexus and to the third chakra. In a space where many have been having difficulty recently, either with their stomach or their pancreas or their liver, gallbladder, or kidney stones, even the spleen. And clearing away all the energy that is blocking your personal fire from burning brightly, shining who you are out into the universe. Releasing any fear that shows up as resentment or judgment or anger or frustration. And any fear that shows up as anxiety or stress or overwhelm. And even any righteous anger that we may be holding. That is meant to propel us to take action in the moment, but not to be held onto as resentment or judgment. And releasing any energy that is squeezing your self-esteem or your self-worth, impeding your self-confidence. Making room for your beautiful self to just shine through. Also releasing the clouds of energy that can cause a heaviness, sometimes in your heart, that depressive energy. Shining a light in the dark areas, giving you space for hope. And faith that all will be well within and around you. And allowing the energy to move down into the second chakra beneath the belly button. Restoring our water flow, our energy flow, our abundance flow back into balance. Allowing our emotions to flow freely. All of our emotions. Anger, sadness, frustration, disappointment, hurt, joy, ecstasy, all of them, allowing space for them all to be felt fully and completely.
Good. Good.
And restoring balance and harmony into our relationships with ourself in all areas, but with others. And releasing any addictive energy that we have or any abusive energy that we have where we misuse others in any capacity or feel misused or neglected.
Good. Good.
And anchoring all that energy down through our hips and into our tailbone and our first chakra, that beautiful red color. And releasing any additional fear that we may have about our life, our finances, our job, our home, our security. Again, removing the obstacles from our abundance flowing fully, completely.
Good. Good. Good.
Allowing the energy to flow down our legs, down our grounding cord, through our feet, clearing our ability to move forward in our life, in our physical world and our spiritual world, bringing harmony to the masculine and feminine energy within us and around us.
Good. Good. Good.
And allowing all energy to release down into the earth. Where it is composted and returned to original creation energy for ourselves and for the planet, the universe and beyond.
Good. Good. Good.
And taking a moment to notice any additional places in your body where you may be feeling tightness or discomfort, asking the white divine light to fill in that spot, gently dissolving, releasing, and flowing the energy away from you.
Good. 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 Good.
Beautiful. And now asking Grandmother Earth, the divine feminine, to send healing energy up from the Earth's center to begin to fill, restore, and repair our energy system in any ways it may be depleted.
Yeah.
Beginning by filling in our feet, giving us a firm foundation to stand upon, through our ankles and our shins and our knees.
Yeah. Good.
Our thighs and our hips, filling the whole pelvic floor with love and light.
Got it. Got it.
And moving up through the belly button
Got it.
and up into the solar plexus
Got it.
and all of the beautiful organs that our torso holds,
Got it.
sending them love and healing so that they don't have to work so hard.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
There we go.
Got it.
And allowing it to move up into our heart and our lungs.
Got it. Yeah. Got it. Got it. Yeah. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
Good. And allowing it to move up through the neck and the throat, as well as pouring down our shoulders and arms into our hands.
Got it.
Making space for our heart to hold even more love and compassion, empathy for ourselves and for others.
Got it.
And at the base of the skull and moving into the head and up to the third eye. Massaging the throat to open and expand and hold more self-expression,
Got it.
and connecting that to our intuition, our inner knowing, our sense of self and being.
Yeah.
Opening our sixth and seventh senses fully as we connect to our crown and above. All the way up to the divine masculine. And allowing the energy to pour over us like a waterfall, to cleanse, repair, and restore our aura in all of its beautiful layers, as it protects us in the physical and the emotional, the mental and the spiritual realms.
Got it. Yeah.
And even through past lives and our karmic debt.
Got it. Got it.
All the way back out to the consciousness, the oneness, the I am.
Got it. Got it.
Now, in this fuller energy, taking a couple of breaths to send healing back to the earth for all that it does to love and support us, to the animals, the water, the trees, the plants, all of the other beings who share this beautiful space with us.
Got it.
To all aspects of our earthly community.
Got it. Got it.
And take a moment of gratitude with your spiritual team for being here with you to guide you and assist you. in this healing work this night.
Got it. Got it.
And you can begin to release and relax, dissolving your meditation, taking a few deep breaths, blowing out any extra energy that you don't need.
Got it.
You may want to rub your hands or your feet either together or on the floor. Anything to help calm you and center you and bring you back into the moment. Lovely. So, welcome back. So this evening we have the Dreams of Gaia Tarot deck. And this deck is by Raven Phelan. I hope I'm saying her name right. And it's different than a traditional tarot deck because there's more cards. There's 81 cards here. And so they have a little bit of a different flavor. But they're very wonderful for connecting to many aspects of our soul's journey and what's going on in our personal lives, and which is mostly why people are looking for a message, looking for some guidance or which way to go kind of energy. So that's what we're here for this evening. And I just wanted to do a quick shout out for those of you who are in, New England area. Many of you know Ed Langen, who's one of our Star Nation's contributing writers and show hosts. He will be at my sanctuary, Trinity Healing Sanctuary, this Sunday, doing a workshop on attracting empowered relationships. And don't we all want to stand in our own power in all of our relationships? So if that's something you're having difficulty with, you can always message me to register. And it's always a joy to have Ed and his guides here because he channels some amazing wisdom to help us move to the next level. And I love that this is all about our relationships because a lot of us can use that. So with that, let's get these card readings started. So if you would like a card drawn for you, just type in yes, please. We will call them in the order that they're in our lobby, which may be different than your actual, what you see on your news feed, because we're getting it from multiple sources. So sometimes you don't have all the things that we see. So I'm going to start off with Julie Shumway Hill. All right, and I'm going to pull up my little cheat sheet here because I'm always forgetting what the symbols mean. Okay, so I know what the message means. It's the symbol. So this one, sweetheart, is the 8 of air. Okay, can you see the sword one going up to the heavens, one coming back down to the earth? And it's, in the hand and bleeding slightly, right? But there's the angel wings, the expansion of that. So in this card, what I'm hearing right now is as above, so below. And so what that reminds me of is the questions that we're seeking about our exterior world are all hidden within us. The answers we seek are within, right? And sometimes to go to those places, we're gonna get hurt a little bit. We're gonna get pricked. We're gonna bleed because that is part of the cleansing process. But it doesn't change our faith. It doesn't change how we go about things. So what this is saying is that you have the weapons that you need. You're coming out of this energy. It's this week in particular that I'm hearing that you may come out of it feeling a little beat up, a little bruised, maybe run over by a truck. My team is like flattened. We get steamrolled sometimes by some very large personality people. And that can be overwhelming and frustrating, and it can dampen our shine, right? So even though you may feel like you're sort of in this kind of broken and bloody place, you've come out of it, and you're still standing. And so even though we bleed, it doesn't mean we're permanently wounded. It means that our feelings got hurt, and that we questioned ourselves for a little bit, maybe, or questioned our own ability. But we're still here and we're still valid. So make sure that kind of what I'm seeing is when somebody else sort of energetically overpowers you, it's sort of a bully energy, but it's not that harsh. It's like somebody with a very big presence, and they're like talking over you rather than talking to you. Take a deep breath and bring yourself back into center, because that can activate some anxiety for us, which pulls us out of the present moment, and then it makes it really hard to hear what they're trying to say. And when somebody is holding overpowering energy like that, sweetie, it usually means that they've got something activated in them. Because when you think of a bear, right? They go up on their legs and they look really, really big. That's when they feel threatened. They don't do that when they don't feel threatened. So when somebody is doing that in human form, trying to make their presence bigger, they're often feeling threatened in some way. And that has nothing to do with you. That's inside of them. So if you can breathe through and realize that, okay, they're not intentionally trying to hurt me, that's just how I've been receiving it, then it'll be easier and quicker to move through. All right. Andrew. Hello. Okay. Nice. You have one of our soul cards. So this card is the wisdom card. Okay. And in the traditional tarot deck that many of you know, this looks a lot like the Hermit, right? And it's got a similar flair, but this one's a little bit different. So the Hermit is all about, you're on your soul's journey, but you're in this place where you're going in for quiet contemplation, right? And the wisdom card has that piece, but it's asking you at this point, your soul's journey is about how do you shine your wisdom? How do you shine your light? And there is some contemplation that I feel going on about that. Like, okay, I have these skills, I have this knowledge, and somebody else could learn from me. How do I share that with other people? And, and it can be almost anything. It can be, you're an amazing cook. Maybe, you share a few easy recipes out there to people who are having, the holidays will be coming before we know it. And maybe you share some easy holiday things that people could prepare who aren't as gifted as you are, because you know how to bring love into what you do. So maybe there's some wisdom around that, or some other wisdom that could be shared with others. And so there's a small amount of contemplation on, okay, what is my wisdom and how do I want to share it? But it's not as a deep, reflective, what's going on with my soul kind of thing. So figure out how to shine your light and share it with others. Okay. Dinah, another one of the soul cards. So this one is number 18. And she's over like a cauldron. There's a couple of masks. She's a brewing something. And this is the thought card. So the thought card is a lot about alchemy. So we create from our thoughts. So what we focus on, we create. So right now, your soul's journey, what's going on for your soul, and this When I say it's a soul card, it means that it's not just for this week. It means that this is this part of the soul lesson you're in right now. And the soul lesson right now is you are an alchemist, and we all are, which means what we focus our attention on, we create. And so in this energy, what are you focusing on? Because that's what you're going to create. So when we focus on positive thought patterns, we create positive things. If we have a number of chaotic things going on around us, we need to check into our thoughts and see if we are creating chaos with our thoughts. You know, there are so many people who gossip about negative things, right? They're talking about all the negative things that are going on, and they're in that gossip energy. Well, they're creating more negative things to happen, and often they happen for themselves, not just for people around them, because they become a magnet to that energy. So when you are in a positive mindset and you are really creating with intention, you are speaking with integrity, and you are in your heart space, then you will start to create some beautiful things that you've been missing and wanting and yearning for, is what I'm hearing, in your life and around you. So work on your thoughts are what create. And so focus attention to what you're thinking, and then create through intention. All right, Marie, I love this picture. It's got this really, I don't know, sci-fi kind of look to it. So this is the 4 of air. There's the sacred geometry all around. There's the heart space that's lit up. There's so much in here. So let's start with the fact that the 4 is, you know, the air is all about thought and about knowledge. Interesting. Your sister had the thought card. Oh, not sister, friend. Sorry. You feel like sisters. So this is about balanced thought as well. Dinah's was her soul lesson right now. Yours is, what do I need for this week? And right now, this week, you need to be mindful to keep your thoughts in balance. Keep them positive, keep them focused, keep them clear. And that will help you on your journey this week, but it will also guide you on your soul's path as well. Because we all need to hear that, right? And for you have this huge intuitive radar. So sometimes you dismiss the logic brain, but the logic and the intuitive brain are meant to be in harmony. They're meant to be in unison. Think of the infinity symbol running through each lobe of the brain and bringing it back into harmony. And when we do that, we get to use both sides, and we get to have our logic brain that can help us take action, and our intuitive brain that can help us create the action to take. So that's where you want to bring your thoughts into balance. Nice. All right. Maureen. Hello, Maureen. Nice to see you. Oh, I love this card. Yep. I think I love all of those. So I'm just going to keep saying it. So this is the 3 of earth. And again, this is a different quality to it. But notice that he is sharing his 3 acorns with this sweet little chipmunk. And taking care of someone smaller and who needs help. So this week, what I'm feeling for you is you are in a place of plenty, so that you have enough, your energy is filled, your your ability to share is greater this week. So how can you spread those little nuggets? How can you spread the Maureen light? And I know you will tomorrow on your show. So we all better check in, because she's about to give us all these cute little nuggets, all of us little squirrels. She's going to send us some guidance and give us some help along our way. And so it's time for you to share those nuggets this week, because there's a lot of people who it'll feed their soul. It will feed exactly what they need to hear and how they need to hear it. So thank you for doing that. And I know everybody on Star Nations tomorrow at 4, if you haven't liked Angel Therapy with Maureen Mann's page yet, get out there and do it, because it's a fabulous show. I check in whenever I can and always watch the archives. Margaret, of course. So Margaret, you are the one of fire. I love the ones. They're these cool dragons. And see, the grandmother spider is inside this one, even though it's fire. So the ones are all about their gifts from the divine. So the dragons are all Gaia, who's Mother Earth, Mother Nature. They're her creatures, her way of giving us protection and mostly protection. We're carrying her vibration. And so this particular dragon carries the element of fire, which when you're being handed fire, you're being handed your personal light. Shine your light. Gaia is reminding you that you can shine your light brightly. You are meant to. The divine is here. And Grandmother Spider in this card, for me, what I'm hearing for you is, remember that we're intimately connected with other people. Grandmother Spider helps weave relationship connections and allows us to sit back and allow things that we're manifesting to come to us. Spiders don't go out and get their food. They build a web, and they wait for the food to fly into them. They wait for the divine to provide for them what they need. And so how have you been using your fire to create your own web and give yourself time for it to come to you? Because that's how it's meant to happen for you. And actually, I see the web that you've created. It's instead of like the white of a spider, it's kind of got this golden, it looks like it's golden thread. And maybe that's because the fire is in the thread and in the weaving. And fire, too, has a lot of our personal power. So stand in your fire and see what can come to you. All right. Carol, of course. So you have the Queen of Earth. And the Queen of Earth is very much like the Mother Nature card. A queen is a very nurturing monarch, right? She takes care of her people. She doesn't rule over them in an authoritative, like aggressive way, a demanding way. She senses what they need and helps to provide it, right? So the Queen of the Earth, again, is very much connected to Gaia. It's like Mother Nature. So your energy this week is very similar to Maureen's, which is you have plenty to give. Your banks are full. So how do you share with others who need some nourishment for their soul, for their well-being? I'm seeing you help other people smile and laugh and have fun again. because laughter heals a lot, right? And when we get too isolated, we get stuck in our head. So sort of reaching out to maybe some friends who have been a little hermity and maybe need to come out and have some fun so that they get out of their own way or they stop spinning in the negativity, because you have plenty of joy and abundance to share with others. So get out there and do that. All right, Mary. Interesting. We're having some themes come up. So this is the King of Fire. And the king is a different ruler, right? The king is very decisive. The king, it does, will listen to you, but they ultimately make all their own decisions. So for you, this is sometimes us gentler women, some of us can be in that, us when we're very intuitive and we're very empathic, we sometimes come across as shy or we come across as vulnerable. So your team is saying it's time to put on that masculine energy and that fiery desire and that fierceness of who you are, because there is a beautiful lion in the bottom, babe. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to focus in right on the lion, right? So that lion heart is calling you to stand up in your fire, stand up in your courage, use your voice. Don't let anybody push you around. And maybe they're going to be surprised by that, but that's on them, right? When, our mama energy, when it gets pushed, we go into mama bear, right? And we will fiercely protect our cubs. This is that same type of energy, but they're encouraging you to have that more masculine stance. And that doesn't mean overpowering. It means being power filled. Fill your power center, fill that third chakra, fill your heart, ask them to work together. The heart and the solar plexus, you can even imagine the infinity symbol between those two to help you stand in your power to face others and speak your truth. Woo! That was heavy. All right, Angela, of course. So yours is the 5 of air. Look at the wings. Look at the mask. The dragonflies. Okay. So in this space, the 5s are all about being out of balance, a little bit of out of balance. So for this week, for you, your thoughts are a little out of balance. The blindfold is on because it's inviting you to sort of take off the logic mask. You're really good at logic, but it's wanting you to close your eyes and feel inside of you the truth. Feel the intuitive place. Feel your honesty. Feel your integrity. Notice whether when you are communicating with others, if they're in that same energy or not, because they may be saying very concise, logical things to you that make perfect sense, and your intuition is going ding, 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 something's wrong here. So it may feel out of whack. It may feel like it's not a normal part of your practice to question somebody else's logic. But remember, your intuition is your divining rod, is how they're telling it to me. Your intuition is the divining rod. It's that it comes in through the divine and it vibrates through you to let you know what to listen to and what's yours and what isn't. And so take off the logic mask for some things that when you're questioning yourself, go to your divining rod, go to your intuition and use that. You won't regret it. All right, Genevieve. So you have the 3 of water. And she's a little hard to see. She's got these bindings on her wrists and on her arms, but they're all broken. She's broken free, and she's looking off to the future. So this is, for this week, what it's talking about is there have been a number of things that you've had that have sort of had you tied in knots, is kind of how I'm seeing it. Like you got really wrapped up in a bunch of things, and then you kind of got strangleholded by them, and they weren't really yours to be in the first place. So this week is about breaking free of other people's entanglements, ways they have caught you in their own story, and using the water energy to feel your way through. Use your emotions to guide you. Look toward the future. Don't get pulled into the past, because bindings are usually energy that are holding us and restricting us from the past. Because when we can stay in the present moment, usually the bindings will fall right off, as if water were flushing over us. So use your emotions to check in and see how you're feeling, what you're feeling. And the other thing I'm hearing for you is you're going to have to say no a couple times this week. And it may be difficult, and you might want to cry after, but it is the healthiest thing for you. If you don't want to do it deep within your heart, then say no, okay? Because that's a perfect boundary for you to learn to start to break free. And it's also one of the hardest. All right, Deborah. So yours is also the water. So this is the 7 of water, my dear. And see, her eyes are closed. She's tapped into, she senses everything around her, but she doesn't need her eyesight. She's got her third eye wide open in her forehead. That's what's guiding her. And so this is something that you are very good at as well. You're very empathic. So you sense the emotional energy around you, the ocean around you, all of the people and their energy. And sometimes, we suck that in. But if we breathe in or gulp down all that water, what's going to happen? We're going to drown in it, right? So instead, we perceive it, we sense it, we know it, we use our intuition to explore it, but we don't absorb it within us. And when we do that, we are able to move freely in the water without pressure, without, we have that weightlessness feeling as we're moving through our week and what's going on. It's like it will flow like water. It will be ease and grace as long as you keep that personal bubble so that other people's emotions are out here. And the way we can do and see if that's happening is check in, close your eyes often. That's the easiest way. You reach in and you ask, is this mine? Are these emotions mine? And if they're not, they will fall right off of you. And you'll be like, oh. And then if it doesn't move at all, you'll be like, okay, those are mine. Those are mine. And so I can experience that and still move through what I need to do this week. All right. So Brenda, thank you for sharing, sweetie. So here's some more water. So you have the Queen of Water. And I love the crab. Scorpio energy's coming, right? So the Queen of Water, she holds her energy. So we have a theme going on here. So what I'm hearing for you is to stand in that feminine energy, to use all of your intuitive ability and allow that to rule your life this week. Let your intuition rule your decisions. Let your intuition tap into all the choices that you make. And let your intuition guide you and your relationships. And relationships not only with people, but with things, because sometimes our relationship with money is wonky. So when we tap into the emotions of, okay, what's happening right now around this? Well, I'm anxious, or I'm feeling overwhelmed because there's a lot that I have to do all at once, or a lot of bills I have to pay all at once. So does that means we've gone into a disconnect with our intuition, a disconnect from the divine. And so you breathe into that anxiety and go, okay, I see you, I feel you, I notice you, but you aren't going to make my decision at this point. What does my heart say? My heart says that everything will be fine and I'm going to do it in this order because that's how it's going to work. All right, so be that queen this week. All right, Lynn. All right, let's get some earth going. So you are the 6 of earth. This has been a big card with this deck. I've had it every time I've worked with it. So he's got the shackles on the wrists that are, the chains have broken. He still has the wood upon his shoulders that held him basically captive, but he's also got the fruit in his hand, the fruits of all of that burden and responsibility that he got something out of it. So what's being said for you is that, you've carried a lot of responsibility for a lot of people, and at times it was definitely too much. You might have felt a little trapped, a little like a slave. I try not to use that word, but yeah, where you were serving everyone but you. And you did that for a certain amount of time, and now you're breaking free of that energy, that it's time to focus on you. And there is so much gratitude from the divine on how much you've done for other people, but you need to fill your cup right now. You need to take care of you. You need to be focusing on self-care. And, that's a catchphrase that gets thrown around a lot by us healers. And for everybody, self-care is different. And remember, self-care is not selfish. Self-care is doing for you what you wish somebody else would do for you. So if you need a back rub or your feet rubbed, go get a massage and let somebody do that for you. Take a tubby, go walk out in nature, go get a manicure, buy yourself a new journal and write some beautiful things down in it. Whatever speaks to you, and, take yourself out on a date. There's a wonderful woman named Sark, S-A-R-K, who has some great books out there. And in one of her books, Succulent Wild Woman, she talks about one of the best ways to heal your soul is to create a relationship with yourself. And in that relationship with yourself, do things for yourself that you would like to create other people to do for you. So when I teach that as part of my school, my students will do things like go out to the movies or out to dinner to where they want to by themselves. It's not with anyone else. Buy themselves flowers or a beautiful card from, a Hallmark card that really speaks to you. And sometimes it's nice to write a really quick note and send it to yourself so that days later when it comes back to you, maybe you need it right in that moment to hear that. So give that a try. All right, Anne. Nice. You have the Heaven and Earth card. And the Heaven and Earth card is another one about balancing what's above and below, the divine masculine, the divine feminine, balancing your spiritual and your physical life, balancing, nature and your spirituality. It's understanding that you are both and that you have both at all times. That when we stand in both heaven and earth at the same time, we are deeply attuned to who we are. And it creates an unshakable energy around us because then we're standing in our core. We're standing in our true essence. So this is inviting you, and I feel like you do this quite often anyways, that you're often very connected to your true self. So I feel like it's coming in as a reminder that you may have, a situation coming up with someone that maybe is a little difficult. There's certain people that we have a harder time holding our essence with. Sometimes it's family, sometimes it's certain friends. So when you feel that tipping sensation of I'm moving out of my positive flow, or I am moving into spinning thoughts, take a deep breath and remember to call yourself back into balance. And I'm seeing it as a side to side balance, an up and down balance, a front and back balance. So think of it in all the directions within you, and your core is like the central compass, so that everything should be balanced in each direction. All right. Martina. So you have the Scribe. And this one is the 12 of air. And air, again, is about knowledge and wisdom. And so your energy for this week is it's time for you to write some of this stuff down. You have some amazing ideas and thoughts that are coming in. You may even be channeling. I see automatic writing. I see poetry, all sorts of things flowing. And when I see poetry, it doesn't always have to be written. It can be music, it can be dance, it can be art. It's how do you express yourself? But it's in a very literal way. So there's something that gets created from it. It's, whether it's written word, whether it's a drawing or a painting. I'm mostly seeing something that looks like a pen. So it's either that or it's painting. So what it's calling you to do is to really allow that energy to flow this week. Set aside time for it. I love to channel, journal first thing in the morning, because when we first get up, we don't have any other thoughts interfering with our flow. So it's the easiest time for me. Now, other people, they're really good at releasing and clearing and doing it at night. So, but whatever works for you is great, but you need to start getting it grounded onto paper. And so I'm even like, this is not something to do on your computer. This is like old-fashioned, old school on a piece of paper. That grounds it into this reality, and it allows it to start to take form for you. Maybe even a vision board. All right, Minnie. Hello, Miss Nature Adventures You. Having that amazing trip for everyone in Colorado. So Interesting. Your sister had the heaven and earth, and you have the masculine feminine. Same thing. Yours just has a little more fire in it. Hers has a little more earth. So in this fiery place that you're in, you had all this creation energy, and it stirred something in your soul. So how do you create the next thing? Well, we need to have that balance of the masculine and the feminine. There are certain parts of us that need to be nurturing and soft and thinking of others. And there's parts of us that need to be in the masculine, the planning. This is how it's going to get done, and this is how we do it, and this is who's going to drive the bus. Now, you know, when you worked with your husband, it was a very good match for that, right? But we can do that inside our own body. And when we do that inside our own body, we are encouraging others to do the same. So bringing the fiery part of you that wants to accomplish all this stuff. That's so exciting. I'm so excited for you. So make sure that you're tapped into both the masculine and feminine aspects of yourself. You tend to be in the feminine a little bit. You have that softer, nurturing, lovey energy. So there's times when, you know, if you're booking a hotel room somewhere and you want to get the best price, you got to put your foot down. And that happens in our masculine energy. It's not an aggressive energy. It's a decisive energy. It's a different type of power, and you need to know how to use both sides. All right? Nice, fun. Ellen, of course. So you are the 9 of air. And so the 9 of air, again, it's about seeking wisdom. Her wrists are bound, but she is holding an open, blossoming lotus. So she's holding her crown open, but she's being held back slightly. So what I'm hearing is, how are you holding yourself back slightly? How are you not fully showing up for Ellen? And what happens is, there are times when we make too many commitments to other people. There's times when we make excuses. We allow our things to distract us and keep us from our energy. But when we don't show up for ourselves, then nobody else shows up for us. And you have the knowledge there. Your crown wants to be wide open. The divine connection wants to come through and assist you with this, but you've bound yourself and held yourself back a little bit. So take a look this week in, you know, when you get frustrated in certain situations, just be aware of, how did I hold myself back in this situation? Did I not say what I needed to say? Did I set unclear expectations? Did I people please and set a time, you know, for an appointment that wasn't realistic for me, and now it's got me rushing and I'm resentful? Look at those things and see how you're blocking the divine from helping you flow your life right now. All right, Aline. So you have a soul card right now, dear, and this one's the 13. And this one's the union card. Sound familiar? Masculine, feminine, imbalance inside of us. But this is for you on a soul level. And when we're talking about it being on a soul level, what I'm saying is that this is your soul lesson right now. How do you keep a balance in your life between your physical life and your spirituality? And I know you've been working really hard on that. And in addition to that, how are you holding your feminine energy? How are you holding your masculine energy? Are you doing one more than the other? And when we do, we tend to get a little bit cranky. So if you've been feeling a little resentful or frustrated or cranky, that's your soul reminding you that you're a little bit out of harmony, a little bit out of sync. You're not quite in the balanced place that you can be in. And when we do that, we feel the harmony and we feel the union of all aspects of ourselves, all the duality coming into balance, the dark, the light, the male, the female, the spiritual, the physical, all of those things start to come back into sync. They come into balance. And for all of you harmony people, the Shiva Lingam, this has been a stone I keep pulling out every week, I think, at least the last month. This is the Shiva Lingam. And this is a great stone to help remind you how to bring things back into harmony, bring it back into balance within you. So the Shiva Lingam, either wear it, put it in your pocket, but use it because it will help. It'll help restore your balance in all parts of your life. And for those of you who've been having dizziness or vertigo, it's great for that. All right, Joanne. Of course. So yours is the 9 of water. And I love how she's in all this dark water, but the divine is shining down her and through her, right? So she's not only connected to her emotions, she's really connected to the divine, channeling it through her. So this is reminding you that when you are in places where things feel bleak or dark in this next week, to energetically look up to the divine, to call it in, to fill you like we do in the beginning in the meditation, to come in through you and anchor in your heart and allow you to operate from that high heart. Because it's almost like you need even more than your intuition. You need to be in that highest heart space to work through the darkness that's around you. And I want to remind you, it's around you, it's not inside of you. Because sometimes other people's energy will squeeze us and squish us and push us down. And this isn't yours, not even close. So allow that energy to get pushed back and away from you, and for you to allow the divine light to shine through you in some amazing ways. It will also allow you to shine and radiate out that heart energy for others so that they can feel the release of the darkness for themselves. Thank you for that. All right, Sandy. So you have one of the soul cards as well. This is the 4. This is the mother card. And again, this has a lot of mother energy, Mother Earth kind of energy. I love the tree and the throne and the turtle, and there's a snake on her scepter. So the mother energy is part of your soul's, who you're supposed to hold as your soul's energy right now. The mother archetype is huge right now for women on the planet. So whether you are acting as a mother or a grandmother or an auntie or a mentor for someone else, you are meant to hold that mothering energy. Now, there's a difference between mothering and smothering. And mothering is female mentorship, is what I'm hearing for you. So you being a knowledgeable woman and sharing that knowledge through energy that is very caretaking and very nurturing, and helping other people do things like remember to do their self-care. because that's how we are going to heal all of the situations in the planet. Is everybody starts to heal themselves and take care of themselves, then we will have the energy and the wherewithal to take care of this beautiful planet that we're on as well. So you have a period of time right now where you're going to be called into holding that energy. And it, again, does not have to be someone you're actually related to. It's someone out there, actually a couple, who were missing that mother energy and need it to fill them so that they can move forward on their soul's journey. Because we all, need to feel that unconditional love because, we're humans. So there were conditions on our love. We had to behave, right? But when we do that for other people, we don't have to have the same conditions, especially when we're mentoring. All right, Bobby. I think Bobby's next, right? Okay. So Bobby is, you are the 12 of water, which is the counselor card. So the water is all about emotions. It's all about intuition. And so the 12 is about, okay, how are you using it? And so it's asking you, a very similar card to the last one, to be a counselor, to be the voice of reason, to be the wise woman for someone else who needs guidance. And when we're in counselor mode, our primary job is to listen to someone who hasn't been heard. And we do that with our heart wide open. And we do that even though we feel their pain, their disappointment. And we let them be seen. We let them be heard. And then we share our wisdom with them. And from that place, when we do that active listening, they will then be able to listen to the wisdom that you can share with them. And when our heart's that wide open, often the wisdom will come in through us from the divine to say the exact thing that person needs to hear in that moment. So don't get caught up in the, I'm not a counselor, I don't know how to do that, or, people are like, that's not, my job. No, it's not. But you're here as an empathetic person to help humanity. And that involves listening to someone else so they feel seen. One of the biggest things that happens is when people feel invisible, they get really cranky, and then they rebel very largely so that they're seen. So if we just hold space and actually hear people, it diffuses a lot of energy, and you are masterful at that. So thank you. All right, Teresa, nice to have you in the house, dear. I love this card because it reminds me of the Phoenix twins. So this is the 2 of fire. This is balanced fire. This is the balanced fire within the sacral and the second chakras. So this fire is the fire of desire. And that doesn't have to be sexual, but it can be. So that fire of desire is like, ooh, what's burning inside of you to be created? Is it a relationship? Is it a business idea? What is it? And your energy is really balanced for this right now. It's really in sync. You're in a very strong, powerful place this week. So use your power and your fire while you have it, because we all know like fire flares up and down. And so sometimes the water comes and washes it out or whatever. You've got fire, use it. And it's in a balanced place. So it's like yeah, there's this real gooiness to it. It'd be real fun to channel this energy and use it for something exciting. So whatever you've got cooking in your intuitive pot up there and those ideas that are circulating, get to it. You've got the fire for it right now. You're all in sync. You're all in flow. You're all in balance. And that yellow has a lot of abundance that goes with it. So get on that, because that seems like a really cool, big idea. Nice. All right, Christine. All right. You are on your soul's journey here. This is the journey card. This is 17 in this deck. It's about halfway through the soul's journey. And in this place, this part of your soul's journey is you're at a crossroads. There's the right path and the left path. And one may seem like you're heading down a tunnel of light. One may seem like you're heading down a tunnel of dark. But that's not really the case. You're not heading into darkness or into lightness. It's where are you going to choose to go? And the darkness often is, are you going to go inward on your journey? Are you going to look deeper inside of you as part of your journey? Are you going to look into the dark places within you that maybe you've kept hidden and that they need some light shed on them so that they can release and heal? Or are you going to journey forward in some movement along your soul's path? And both journeys are needed, and that you're going to need to do both. And that's how another way we bring balance. You're another one who's in a place where you need to learn the balance between the two. The journey inward allows us to journey outward. And the journey outward allows us to journey inward. So wherever you're feeling out of harmony, and this is a long-term thing over the next few months, remember that there's that inner and outer harmony for you is how you are learning to grow and evolve your soul. So, and if you need some mentoring on that, there's a number of amazing people out there, especially here at Star Nations, who would love to assist you with that if you need it. All right, Lisa. Jeez, another one. The 8, which is another soul card. This one is the death and rebirth. Don't freak out about that. This is a very strong card for autumn, because it is the ending of one season and the beginning of another. And because of the Jewish calendar, with Rosh Hashanah, we're ending 1 year and we're stepping into a new year. So, this was the calendar year for a long time on the earth plane. So many of us are still aligned with it. It's why our schools run on this school calendar. We start in September-ish and we go around till summertime. So something is ending for your soul. Something is done, something is complete. That's great. It means you no longer have to deal with that. We don't have to hold on to regret or sadness or disappointment. We just know that in the letting go, we're birthing a new part of ourselves. We're allowing some new juicy Lisa to come to the surface and be born. It's almost like Phoenix energy, where you're being birthed out of the ashes of destruction. But it doesn't feel so destructive as it's just been a pain in your fanny. There's been a lot of resistance and it's been slow going, and you've been feeling like you're being held back energetically, and it's because it's percolating into a new birth of you. So this is part of you. Shed the old skin of the snake, allow the new you to slither forward, and in that you birth a whole new you. Every time we shed a layer of who we're not, we get closer and closer to who we are. All right, Kimberly, hello, my dear. Of course, you got a water card. So you got the 10 of water. But see, the 10 of water, she's very much in charge of her emotions. She's in charge of her intuition. She's creating the waves around her. She's the one who is in creation mode. She understands all of her emotions, and she is a love being. She shares love, she receives love, and she knows how to help others feel their feelings. And you know that this can be a challenging thing when we're empaths and we feel everything, and we are surrounded by people who don't want to feel anything. We can't make them, right? But we can hold space for possibilities. And we simply just go into that place of, I am a lovely, caring human being, and I am going to surround myself with other lovely, caring human beings. And that's what I deserve, and that's what I will receive. That could be a very important energy for you to carry through this week and next. All right. Angie. So you are the one of air. And again, these ones are like gifts from the divine, and they're Gaia's gifts from the divine are all these dragons. This one has the whitish flare of the air and the beautiful symbol. So with this card, what I'm feeling is you're being gifted with some wisdom, some knowledge. Often comes in as an aha moment. You know, we struggle, and we're just like, I just need a way to do this differently. And then boom, it drops in. And it's like, where did that come from? So it's divine inspiration. So divine inspiration is coming for you or showing up for you in this next week. So how are you going to tap into that? Because we often get an idea and we dismiss it. And when we dismiss it, then the divine stops sending it to us as often. But if we're like, oh, that's a cool idea, thank you, I'd love more, please, then more and more come in. And it's almost like popcorn, you know, like if one kernel pops, then a bunch of other ones pop. So you want to allow that inspiration to come in, be willing and open for it to arrive, and release any doubt when it comes in, because doubt will close down your crown chakra and make it hard for the energy to flow in and flow through you. All right. Kimberly, glad to have you with us. So yours is the 20, of desire. So for those of you who know the tarot, this is very different. This is not a card that's in the tarot in this fashion. So in the desire, it's, notice that he's, I want to draw your attention. Notice that he's naked and he's holding one of the dragon heads, right? But you can also see the eye behind there is a dragon's eye in the darkness, as well as the ram and the raven, and there's a lotus. So what this is calling is like your soul is starting to hone in on what you desire. And when we focus on what we desire, then we start to call it into our reality. We call it out of the darkness, out of the shadow, and into the light. But to do that, we need to be open, we need to be vulnerable, we need to be real. So, I know you've been feeling a pull of relationship type of energy. And so what I'm feeling is around that at the moment is don't focus on the who. Focus on the sensation that you want to be created within you. How do you want to feel love? How do you want to feel desire brewing within you? And when you call the feeling of what you want in, the right who will appear. And maybe they're already on your radar because there's some very, lovely people around you, but feel it within you and then become a magnet for it outside of you. Because when we do that, then we're creating from within, not from our thinking brain, right? Because that doesn't do as much creation energy as our whole essence and our whole being does. And this is really calling on you to use that fire energy from your belly to combine with your intuitive thought process to create what you desire. All right? Phew. And let's see, Jackie. So you have the King of Water. So the water is the intuition. This is the emotions. But when you are the king, you are the ruler. You are the ruler of your own emotions. You are the ruler of how you feel, how you express, how you check in with your intuition. You don't need to ask anyone else's permission. And the king, like I said before with other kings, they listen to the people around them, but ultimately make the decision from their own energy space, from their own intuition, from their own emotional body. So again, keeping everybody else's emotional energy off of you in a very commanding kind of way. Here is my boundary, don't cross it. And you may say that with your spiritual team, but in that space, knowing and owning that these are my emotions and these are how they're flowing and nobody can tell me differently. Because that's how I check in. That's how I know to hold my boundaries. That's how I know to feel my full feelings will help me tap into my deepest intuition, which will allow me to flow abundantly through my life. So be the king. All right, and our other Jackie, Fitzpatrick. It's always fun, and we tend to have a couple Jackies back to back. So yours, sweetie, is another one of the soul cards, and this is the 24, which is faith. So faith is, notice that she has her animals from the air, the water, the earth, and the fire around her. So there's fire wings, there's the bird, and so she is right now in your soul's journey. You have all of the elements that you need to accomplish everything that you desire. The one thing that you need to have the most of is faith. Faith that it is going to go this way. Faith that the divine has your back. Faith that you can create your life the way you want it. Faith that you don't need anybody else's input. You can have it if you want it, but you are not dependent on somebody else's opinion of you. You are not dependent on anyone else's support besides the divine. You've got every element within you. They're all active. They're all ready to roll. And I would even tap into your animal totem and call in the totem animals that you know, and ask them to be there and help ground you and support you as you hold space for what is about to unfold for you from the divine. It's almost like there's a big present coming for Christmas, and just trust that it's coming. Okay? And it will. Emily. Of course, dear. So your card is another one of the soul cards. This is the healing card. And again, this is not in the traditional tarot deck, not in this fashion. So there's a lot of Celtic energy in this particular card. So right now, what your soul is going through is a period of healing. And, you know, we have core wounds for a reason. They're meant to teach us lessons. They're meant to give us ways for us to move our energy, evolve our energy to the next level, to the next sphere, dimension, however you want to see that. And so part of our journey is to heal our way there and to not ignore those wounds, but to look at them deeply, feel into them deeply, and honor how they got us to where we are now. And I'm not feeling a healing crisis for you, which, you know, sometimes can be physical health issues or, you know, emotional things get really out of whack. I'm feeling more of a soul's journey through beliefs and patterns and ideas and thoughts that just really don't work for you and really don't work for humanity. And really checking on how to be aligned in your integrity, in your truth, in your true essence. And that will begin to heal you on a deeper, fuller level than you've been able to do in the past. All right. Beautiful. Taylor, of course. Your card is the 14. This is the self card. Ah, another one of the soul cards. So this again is, it's time for you to focus on you. Does this sound familiar? You are the one to heal you. You are the one who can slay the dragons that lay within. And they're only dragons because we've allowed them to grow those monster energies within us as a child. They've grown and morphed and become big, and it feels like we have to slay them now. But in reality, that's our imagination. That is our ego protecting itself in some degree. But this is time for you to call in peace, call in serenity, call in the energy of the doves to wash over you, to protect you, and help you reconnect, or maybe connect for the first time in a long time, to that sense of wholeness, to that sense of peace, where, you know, the dragons can become your animal totems. They don't have to be inside where you're afraid of their fire, but they can be outside where you command them and use their energy to help you transform and transmute even on a deeper, fuller level than you have even been doing. Wow, that's quite a lot. So really check in and be gentle, gentle, gentle with yourself. You don't have to do it all in a day. All right, Rob. Yay, glad you made it. So your card is the 9. It's the knowledge card. So this again, it has the cauldron. This one has a recipe book though, see? So even though this energy is of the alchemist, of transforming old energy, burning it away and creating something new, It's about using all the knowledge you have. So you've been accumulating a lot of wisdom, which is great, but have you embodied it yet? Are you living it yet? It's not about how much knowledge you hold. It's about taking the knowledge you have and embodying it and being it, assembling it into your tapestry. And again, there's no one right recipe book. There's going to be a lot of books on the shelf, you know, and some of the best potions, some of the best food too, right, is when you use a pinch of this and a pinch of that. And, you know, you may start with a base recipe, but you add your own flair. So how do you channel in at this point in your spiritual journey? It's like, it's time to embody the knowledge that you've accumulated. How do you do that? How do you walk the walk, not just talk the talk? And this may mean reaching out to a mentor, a new mentor who can really hold you to task, really make sure that you're showing up for you and not just putting on a spiritual mask of pretense. Okay? So this is such a big pivotal moment for you that could really shift your soul on a rapid course if you just are willing to give it your all. Woo! All right, these last cards have been something. All right, Emily, you ready? Phew, of course, I'm always drawn to pull for everybody, sweetie. So your card is the Two of Earth. Nice. Nicely balanced. So here she is. She's juggling a whole bunch of things, but at the same time, she's super grounded. Her third eye is wide open. She can see the things that are floating around, and yet she's able to stay centered. So this week there may feel like a lot's being thrown at you, or a lot needs to be accomplished, or there's a lot of balls in the air, but it's okay. You have enough juggler within you that you can catch each one, ground them, and take action with them without dropping any of them. And remember that your intuition will guide you through that. That's the biggest piece. Let the intuition guide you as you make those changes and as you catch those balls and take that action. And there you go. So that was our last card. I like to always finish off with Neshi. So this is an interesting one for Neshi. And she has the Father card. So the soul's journey for you right now, Neshi, is about how to be the father. You've been the mother of Star Nations for a long time. How do you be the father? And the father rules differently than the mother, right? The father has, you know, more a commanding presence, has maybe some more rules and guidelines, still loves fiercely, protects the tribe, but it happens in a different way. So this is part of this segment, is to hold some of that. And maybe it's to hold people accountable from that male perspective rather than, you know, sometimes when we're in our feminine energy, we're like, oh, it's okay. It's all right if you didn't do that. It's like sometimes we need a little discipline, a little rigidity so that we all can get things done when they're supposed to. So with that, you guys, thank you for being here. Remember, I will be at Star Nations in person next weekend. There's still room available. If you feel called to move some of this stuff that's been coming up in these cards, why not take the opportunity to do it in person? 20 hours of you know, time spent on just you. How much more self-care could you get? So with that, you guys, I will see you next week. Make sure tomorrow you tune into Angel Therapy with Maureen Mann at 4 o'clock. because she's going to help us work through some more of our trauma, which is fabulous. We all need that. And I will be here next week on Tuesday for chakra sessions. And my goal is to be here Wednesday night next week as well, because I'll still be on this earth plane. And with that, have a great time. I will see you soon, and we'll catch you next week.